All right, 7-8 class, here we go. So we are into reflection. Reflection is a property of light that we already talked about. It is where light hits a surface and bounces off of it. And realistically, everything you see is reflecting light in some amount. When you are looking across your room at, the wall, or if your pet dog walks in, or if your annoying sibling walks in, you are still seeing them. So light is bouncing off of them and coming to you. So that is still reflection. What we talk about mostly in this topic is reflection off of a mirror, which, we're all pretty accustomed to. So let's get into it. Reflection on a plane mirror is one of the things that we talk about. So there's two different types of surfaces. There's smooth surfaces and rough surfaces. So we're going to get to some really important concepts around this. And there's actually a law in science that reflects this. That's so funny. Not really. Anyways, so a rough surface has irregular surfaces, and what ends up happening, we're going to get into this a little bit later on. We're going to talk about the law of reflection, which is the angle of incidence equals the angle of reflection. I would normally do a ton of drawing around this, but you guys are going to probably have to just take some notes on your own. This visual note-taking thing will be very good for you. On a rough surface, because the surface is not smooth or flat, the light bounces off in irregular ways, and you've all seen this when you drive by a really nice lake in the mountains and it's really calm up there and you can see this perfect reflection. That water is behaving like this. On the next day when you're driving back out or you're driving by a similar surface, you can't see the other side. That's because the water is all churned up by wind and it's moving up and down, and the light has to hit it at different angles and bounces light in different directions. So that is kind of a core principle around reflection. A smooth surface will reflect better than a unsmooth surface. So now into the law of reflection. This image right here is one that, slow it down, computer, is one that I would draw. So in this diagram, we have a plane mirror, and a plane mirror just means a flat mirror. Bouncing off the mirror at 90 degrees. Really important is this line here is at 90 degrees to that plane mirror, and it's called the normal line. Now every mirror, even curved mirrors, have a normal line, and we'll talk about how that works a little bit later on. There is, on this side over here is where your eye would be, because you're picking up the reflected ray when you're, looking at something in the mirror. I know my sister used to play tricks on me, and she would hold a mirror by the door and she would look around the door by looking at the mirror and seeing me on the other side. And she would laugh when, whatever her prank was had gone successfully and, water had been dumped on my head or something like that. And there is an incident ray. Now that incident ray is the light coming from the other side, traveling towards the mirror, which then bounces off the mirror and comes towards you. That reflected ray and incident ray. And this angle of incidence means the angle from the incidence ray to the normal line is the same as the amount of degrees from the angle of reflection, the reflected ray, to the normal line. And it's really important that you guys get that it's from the ray to the normal line, not the ray to the mirrored surface. Okay? It's really important that it's the normal line to the ray, or the ray to the normal line. It has to be to normal, not to the reflective surface. And that's very important for the angle of reflection. So this is the image I was talking about earlier. These things are rare when you see them, but this means that the water is completely smooth and is acting as a plane mirror and giving you that reflected image. That can always be messed up by just throwing a rock in the water, which changes the angles and makes you not able to see quite so perfectly to the other side. So I'm going to buzz past this little activity. Not because I don't care, but we just are trying to get stuff done. Okay. This is all being very slow because this computer is super choppy, which you can see in the video that it's capturing while it's doing the scrolling. So, to form an image, one of the things you need to be aware of when you're looking at something in a mirror is what you're seeing in the mirror is a virtual image. So if you walk up to a mirror and are looking at yourself in a mirror, you see yourself, but you see yourself whatever distance inside of the mirror. So